Well, we finally have some good news. And I know people here in the United States, we've been going through it with the recent port strike, with Hurricane Helene, still seeing people are being recovered because of the hurricane. We're still seeing so much damage, but there is a recovery effort on the way. So, a lot of good things. We did get a new report today on jobs. Unemployment did go down. We'll address that in today's video. We're going to talk about the increase in hiring and what we are currently facing. So, again, I'm going to bring you some good news for today, but as with any good news, there's always some bad news. So I will address that as well. But all I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. Well, first off, happy Friday. But let's get to some of the good news for today. Let's start with the port strike. The port strike ends as workers agree to a tentative deal on wages and contract extension. I want to be very clear on one thing. Yesterday and over the past couple of days, I've said the exact same thing over and over again, that the issue isn't wages. Wages is not the problem. The problem with this port strike is what the workers are asking for. And I'm not saying it's the workers are at fault here. The workers are trying to protect their work, trying to protect their future. And so what they want is to ban all automation on the East Coast and the Gulf Coast ports. But the concern with that is if we ban all automation, then really trying to develop and become more efficient, more effective, and at the same time reducing costs can't happen. And so that's the issue there. It's not about the wages. Now, I do want to read this to you though. It says the two sides have extended their existing contract through January 15th to provide time to negotiate a new contract. Again, it's not about the wages. Okay? So, as of right now, the deal that's on the table, and they have until January 15th to accept it, is they will receive a 52% wage increase. Okay? So, again, it's a pretty good number. Or actually, not 52, excuse me. 50 was the number that they initially they were initially offered. Now they're actually getting a 61.5% wage increase. Okay? That would happen over 6 years. That's in the tentative agreement. However, if it's not accepted by January 15th, and they go on strike again on January 16th, that offer would actually be rescinded. Okay? So it'll expire. That's the bad news here. So good news, they're going back to work. This means all those shoppers that are seeing those empty shelves, no toilet paper, no water, no paper towels, guess what? You don't have to worry because these people are going back to work. But like I said the other day, this was nothing to worry about because 90% of toilet paper is produced right here in the United States. It does not get imported into the U.S. So, good news, you shouldn't have to worry about empty shelves. Now, the next piece of good news. U.S. job creation totaled 254,000 in September, much better than expected. Okay, so this is pretty good news, right? Well, yes and no. The reason why this is good news, okay, is because we are seeing people going back to work. According to the reports, the people that were hired are coming back for leisure and healthcare. That's where the biggest advancements in this past month came from. We did see that we are now at a 3-month low for unemployment. Unemployment rate fell to 4.1%. Again, good news, right? Less people are unemployed. Well, here's the reason why this is potentially bad news. Well, the good news is, yes, more people are working. We need that, right? The bad news is that the Federal Reserve is, they're expecting, it's anticipated that the Federal Reserve was going to come out and cut interest rates this next FOMC meeting. Here's the problem. If the economy looks like it is still very hot, right? We see just a lot of job growth. We see unemployment coming down. if this happens, which it just did, the Federal Reserve is less likely to have an aggressive rate cut like they did on this previous meeting, where they cut rates by 50 basis points. So what could we see in the next meeting? We could see interest rates just stay exactly where they're at, or we may see a rate cut of 25 basis points. The expectation right now is that interest rates will drop by 25 basis points. Okay? Won't be as aggressive as last time, but they will still come down. So the good news here is that yes, interest rates are likely going to continue to fall. The bad news is they won't come down as quickly as we were expecting because of the jobs report that just came out this morning. So we'll see what happens there. Now, here's the other thing. And I want to show you this because this is exactly what people are feeling. And this will potentially hurt the economy in the next few months, but we may not see it really affect our the interest rates potentially into the second quarter of 2025. But look at this right here. It says, our return to office mandates really just mass layoffs in disguise? That's the question a lot of people have been asking. And I said this before, that yes, before people were asking this question, I came out and I was very clear that this return to office mandate that Amazon has, there's a very high likelihood Amazon doesn't want people coming back to the office. What they want to see is how many people are actually 100% in for Amazon. Now, where Amazon may have made the mistake, and I don't know if there's a law to this or whatever, but Amazon gave people until January 1st to come back to the office 5 days per week. If they were to came out and said, all right, I need everybody back into the office next week, there's a very good chance all those people don't come back because they may have had another job. There are millions of people out there right now that have a job for one company and are working from home, but at the same time, they're working from home for another company as well. They're double dipping, making twice as much money, which is pretty smart. But now that employers are realizing this, they're calling people back to the office to see firsthand who shows up. So, good news is people may be coming back to work. Bad news is people may not be coming back to work. Now, I do want to show you one other thing. And the reason why I want to show you this is because this is something that we are going to see potentially be addressed, which could be good news. Look at this. It says Hurricane Helene recovery could cost $34 billion. But who's going to pay for it? That's what we don't know. Because the federal government, or FEMA, does not have $34 billion to pay for this. According to Secretary Mayorkas, he warns FEMA doesn't have enough funding to last through the hurricane season. Not just pay for Hurricane Helene and the damage there, but last through the season because we already have another hurricane that could be hitting any day now. But according to reports, the federal government, Congress, they provided $20 billion to FEMA. Okay. Well, the problem is the Congress right now is on recess. They're over in their home states campaigning. They will not come back to Washington until after the election. That is going to take too much time. We need them back now. Here's the issue. As of right now, FEMA is still sending out $750 checks for people that need it. But how do you get those checks? Well, you can apply online. You can also call a number. You can't apply online if you don't have internet. That's an issue. You can't apply online if your computer was just buried in 2 feet of water, right? Not going to work, right? You're going to have some issues there. So that's the other problem is they are giving these $750 checks to people that need it, right? Like here, come get your check. But what if they don't have a bank account? What if their bank was underwater and the bank's closed, right? A lot of issues here. But good news is they're trying. Bad news is the federal government and these insurance companies are likely going to foot the bill. The problem is these insurance companies don't have all that money either. And the other issue is all these insurance companies are likely going to increase their premiums here in this next year. So, good news is help is on the way. Bad news is, well, it may be a little bit delayed, and it's going to cost more money in the future. So, well, that is what we know as of today. So again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I will see you guys on the next one.